basic math, but
Okay.
but I didn't look up the math concept to understand basic math.
Okay, but what I'm
I
saying
don't
is,
need
are
a
you going to
lesson
tell
to
me
learn
about it? Because
lesson
I
one and
mean,
two.
I'm just
I'm
trying to
just
see what
asking you,
you're
did you
getting
actually
at.
look up and do the research on it
I
before
don't
you
know what
just
you mean
discount it?
specifically, but yes, I have looked up and researched about laws that had to do with race in the U.S. But I don't know what you mean specifically, unless you
The
tell
class,
me
I didn't know. I said the classifications of race in the United States and how they changed over the
that
years.
it was different no matter where, depending on where you were in the U.S. I'm from New Orleans, so I'm more familiar with that. But I wanted to respond to what you said. So the thing is, like, if uh, throwing in emotion is going to muddy the waters, right? So I'm familiar with the concept of $5 Indians, and I will tell anybody, yeah, they're not, a lot of them are not mostly Native American, but I mean, I don't see why you're going to say what I would say or what most people would say about white people when we're talking about black people. I just feel like that's a way of like saying, hey, look over here. That, I mean, you don't know what we would say about that. That has nothing to do with like what we're talking about. And another thing, you said that we said you can't acknowledge any Native ancestry. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. There are people that are mixed with Black and Native, just like there are people that mix with white and Native. What I'm saying is, if people are under the impression that Black Americans are indigenous to the US, that is false. That doesn't mean that a person can't be mixed with
It's not
indigenous
false.
and African. Of course you can be. So no, I mean, that's not what was being said. And I just think that, that needs to be said. I just feel like that's muddy in the waters. That's muddy in the waters because that's not the issue. Somebody being mixed is not the issue. The issue is people believing that Black people in the US do not descend in large part from Africans. That's the issue.
I have a question for you, Chaco. Before anybody else
Uh-huh.
goes, two things. First, I want to welcome back Tiff Starborn, and we have DJ Witch Doctor, who has also joined the panel with us.
Yo,
Um,
Doctor,
and
What up, DJ?
yo. What up, yo?
what's up, boy?
okay, my question to you, Chaco. I remember earlier you said that it was disproven that anybody was here who was melanated
I didn't say
prior to
that. That's not what
slavery.
I said. No, that's not what I
Okay, so
said.
maybe I misheard you. Can
Yeah,
you
you
go
you
back to that because I think somebody asked that question. I wanted to
So
revisit it.
that's two different things, right? So if I say Black people come from Africa, that does not mean there was not a single or a few Black people that came here and were here before slavery. That's two completely different things. So no, I don't know whether there were Black people here before slavery, and I would assume there were because before slavery was a long time, and also there are a lot of Africans. So, but that has nothing. I'm saying that Black people in the United States are genetically sub-Saharan West African. I'm saying they are not Native American. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with her.
Okay, does anybody want to go ahead and respond?
I would like to jump in there. Is that okay?
Go right ahead.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. So I have a question for Mr. Music. Hey, Mr. Music. So now you brought up Pangea earlier, right? So I want to play devil's advocate. I want to try to shake the table just a little bit on this.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, so you brought up Pangea because that's what we learned, that at one point all the continents were connected. So where is the evidence that it's proven that the bone or even the carbon data that you mentioned points to that landmass if we were all at one point one continent?
Well, at that point in time, as I said, the land continent, they hadn't split into different continents. So when they did split up, of course, we got the 7 continents. But according to the different places that as they say, I hate to keep using this word over, but for lack of a better word, they showed where they found in different bones of different regions of humans that passed away. And they did what they do to see how long was this bone here based on the skull, the coloration of the skull. Of course, we all know the longer a skull has been exposed to the weather, the whiter it gets. So that was another thing. And then, of course, as long as they went along and they said, okay, let's test these bones. They test this bone. So the oldest bones that they have found of any human being, I'm not sure of the particular name, but it's a female, and the female is called Lucy or something like that. Maybe a different name.
I'm very familiar with
Okay,
that.
but
Can I also point something out real quick? So Pangea happened at a time where the modern Homo sapiens did not exist. So Pangea happened about 335 million years ago. The modern Homo sapiens originated 300,000 years ago. So I mean
right.
that's a
So,
long.
so
By the time
so
modern
even
Homo
That's a
sapiens
long time
existed,
ago.
the continents
right.
was already separated.
Okay, so even though the modern Homo sapien didn't exist, we still know there's historical evidence that the human people did exist.
Yeah, like
Human bones did.
homogeneous,
Yes,
Can
exactly.
I
yes.
Yeah.
can I
So like
intersect
Neanderthal,
right
No, 'cause
there?
I'm not
humanoid type
finished.
figures. Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
Homo
okay,
erectus type
there were
people.
things called land bridges, like during the ice ages, land bridges, they appeared and disappeared with time. So that's how people got to different continents.
Yes.
right, but it's being presumed that basically everybody originated from one part of land mass instead of saying, hey, there might have been people all over. And I get the whole idea of bridges because that's how the Siberians was able to come into the United States in the first place, through the Bering Strait. So I get that concept. So why is it, I get Brownie points, why is it so accepted to say, oh well, the native that look like the $5 Indians are accepted as indigenous people, but as soon as quote unquote Black people want to say, well, as far as my lineage, it goes all the way back to Virginia, it goes to Florida, it goes to New York. It's always question, or where's the science? And that's where it getting kind of like religion to me, because that's like people telling me we all come from Adam and Eve. So basically we are long distance cousins. Like, ew, I don't want to, equate that with anything. So that's what it's given for me. But hold on.
So I didn't hear anybody say that like everybody that's considered a Native American is mostly Native American. I just feel like that's something that's kind of being thrown in there. And regardless, let's just say most of them are not Native American. That's still acknowledging we know what Native American is. So just because they're not fully Native American, that doesn't mean you're a Native American. There are people here, not that many, but there are people here that are fully Native American. Just because there are white people that consider themselves Native American, even though they're mostly white, and they're officially like on paper, they're Native American, that doesn't mean they're actually Native American. That's like Jesse Jackson being part of the Cherokee tribe. I mean, I'm guessing that he's mixed, but that doesn't mean he's not Black. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just feel like
So do you equate Black with being African? And I'm gonna ask Mr. DJ.
well, that it just depends on what you mean by that. It has different meanings in different places. So yeah, in the
the
United
definition
States,
of Black
yes.
American
In the United
denotes
States,
for
yes.
people that descend from the translated slave trade. So the actual definition of Black American is people who descended from the translated slave trade from Western Central Africa.
Well, to answer that question right quick, like I would say, just on my personal experience, I can't speak for everyone, but I consider Blackness to be a direct connection to, as they say, the motherland. What the connection is, it's up to you to find out what your connection is. But for me, I know where it came from. So
Can I point something out?
Can I say
real
something
quick about
after?
the term
I wanted
Black?
to respond to one more thing Tiffany said, but whenever y'all done.
Yeah, I just wanted to point this real quick about the term Black. I mean, the term Black is a social construct, so it's not really denoted to like a physical or genetic reality per se, right? Anybody with melanated skin can be considered quote unquote Black, depending on
Sure.
who's saying it, right? What we're saying is that we are indigenous to we are descendants of the translated slave trade. We're pointing to something that happened specifically in history. It said we are descendants from that. There's empirical data to verify and to prove that we descend from this a point in history. The largest forced migration in modern human history, right? This is something that's well documented around the world that that it happened.
Absolutely, and that's the point that I'm saying. So again, as you said, race is a social construct. It was created by palm-colored folks. Would you put yourself in the bottom? That you created something, or would you put yourself at the top?
Right. Yeah. But can I wanted to respond to something else Tiffany said. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was done. You paused. My bad.
Again, I know where I'm from, so again, my lineage tells me that, that my folks at one point in time, they were, as y'all call us, descendants of slaves, just based on the region. Now, my ethnicity is by the United States laws, I'm Black. Now, at one time I was Negro, another time I was colored. But right now I'm a Black American, just based on the region that I was born in. I wasn't born in Africa, so I'm not an African American. That's just the moniker that the United States decided to put on the census. That's the only way we could identify ourselves. So when you don't have that choice, we couldn't say at the 1960s, we didn't say we were African American because the United States laws didn't allow that.
So are y'all saying that basically, you know, Africans migrated all over the globe? So I read into a video not too long ago of this woman giving an interview from an indigenous Black woman from Australia, and she basically said that her family didn't teach her that they came from Africa, that they was from that land of Australia. So you're gonna tell them Australian people that they're not indigenous to that land just because you know,
that's the thing. If you look at the
wait. Didn't I want to respond? I wanted to respond to Tiffany. Yeah, but okay, so you said something about all people coming from Africa as opposed to like people perhaps coming from different places. Why couldn't people be from different places? So the thing is, all people are from the same family tree. It just branches out and out and out. So yes, all people. I don't believe that. So that's why. Okay, so that's the thing. So no. So that's the thing. I'm sorry, Tiffany. I no disrespect, but I'm saying it's not about like belief. You know what I mean? It's about genetic evidence. Okay. All right. Okay. But no, can I finish though? Can I finish though?
But I'm saying, but it's kind of like you're contradicting yourself because you.
No, I'm not.
Said earlier about the science said, oh well, or it's proven that a Black American are indigenous to this land, so or are Native American. So what makes like how do we know what a Native American is? You said,
okay, so can I? All right. What is it? So, I wish I had like a whiteboard right now. But what I'm saying is, when I say indigenous, okay, you're talking about the Australians. They've been there for what, 30,000, 50,000 years. All that doesn't change the fact that all humans came from Africa. We're not talking about that time period. We're not talking about 30,000 years ago. I'm talking about like recently, like in the past few thousand years.
200 years ago, 300 years ago, 400 years ago.
Okay, but all right. Like, but you said that you don't believe that everybody is related, and the reason why I said it's not about belief. What I'm saying is, if that's the point that we're hinging on, then what needs to happen is we need to stop. We need to go and research, and we need to come to an agreement on whether all humans are related or not, or whether all humans are descended from the same thing. Because if not, no. What I'm saying is, if not, then we're never going to agree on anything past that. Because you're talking about what you believe, and I'm talking about science. That's just it.
But the thing is, I think there's a few people on this panel that agree that science can be disproven. It's not something that should.
Bang.
100%.
Wait a minute. Even disproving it is science. Disprove you got to have science to disprove science.
That's what I'm saying. Science is a process. Science is a process.
But again, like we said earlier, does it mean just because you say something in science, does it make it true? If it's a theory and it comes from a hypothesis. So what did we say a hypothesis is? We said a hypothesis is a question, right? So if it's a question, that means you have curiosity on that particular subject.
But you gotta have some sort of proof to
right. So what I would encourage you to do is go and you can look it up on Wikipedia. You can look it up on any kind of scientific journal, and you will see the support for the reason why they said that, and you can see like what other things that have already been proven that they're basing that on. So you don't just have to say, oh, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. Well, I choose to believe this.
Who's they? And it doesn't make it true just because that evidence is
what
there.
I'm talking about is peer-reviewed studies. I'm talking about when people do studies and other people that are also working in that field that are in universities and stuff, they review them to make sure that what they did was logical. Then it gets published in a journal. That's what I'm talking about. It's not about, oh, I feel like this, I feel like that. I'm saying that there are people that are working on this as we speak. They got somebody that just work on like seismic waves. They got somebody that just study plankton in the ocean. They got somebody that just studies a certain kind of linguistics, for a certain tribe. So there's no reason for us to be talking about, oh, I believe this, I believe that. Go and learn it. Go and learn.
But even by that statement, that's you're talking about, again, science starts off with a hypothesis, which means it comes from curiosity. Even if you get the evidence, that means that you are trying to figure out if it's true or not.
So what's your point?
That means
I'm trying to see what you're saying.
Jesus Christ.
No, man. I'm asking. You said it a bunch of times, but I don't get your point.
Of course you don't get it because you just keep saying science. So let me ask a better question. Does that mean science is 100% true?
Science is a process.
Again, that's not what I asked you.
Okay, so
Wait
I
a
mean, a
minute,
process
wait a
Is
can't be
minute.
science 100% true?
Wait a
Your
minute, bro.
question
Yeah,
does not
wait
make
a
sense.
minute.
That's
Yeah,
an
It
invalid
does make
question.
it does make
That's an
sense.
invalid
Y'all
question.
keep
That's an
saying on
invalid
this
question.
panel, no, it's not an invalid question. Y'all
Yes,
keep
it is.
saying, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
You keep saying on this panel, y'all keep saying on this panel, you can't argue with science. If you just basically said it has to go through an experimentation and all these different things, does science means that it's 100% true? If
Okay,
it's a
so
study,
science does not prove, science disproves.
again, is science? Does that mean science is 100% true?
no.
Science is a process.
She's not
Science
answering
is
the
a process.
question. Somebody
I
just
don't know
answered
what
it for you.
you don't realize why your question
If it's
doesn't make sense.
No,
I'm not
no.
sidestepping your question. So are you
You
saying
are.
that science sometimes proves that past beliefs were incorrect? Yes, science
Right.
does that.
Did you not say that science has the scientific method or science has to be disproven? So
Right,
does
can I
that
ask
mean
this
that it's
question? Can I ask
already
this
true or
question?
not
No,
true?
I didn't say it's proven. I said it's
has to be
highly
disproven.
supported. It's highly supported. Yes,
I said it
until
has
it's
to be
disproven. Until it's disproven.
So does that mean it's true?
Yes.
Can I answer that? Can I answer
Until
that?
it's disproven or
Generally agreed
updated.
to be
Yeah.
true.
Can I
But the
answer
thing
that?
is, no,
It's
let me say one
believed
more
to be
thing.
true,
Let
which
me
means
say
that
one
it
more
doesn't mean it's
thing. Let me
100%
say one
true.
more thing. Please let me say one more thing. So this is the thing. It is believed to be true because of the support. But here's the thing. If evidence comes up that disproves it, you can double check it, but you have to take that into account and you have to throw it out. You can't say, well, I
You
see that
just
it's been
contradicted
disproven.
yourself.
Oh, no.
No,
Come on,
no,
man.
sir.
Come on, man. What
No,
I'm
sir.
saying is
No,
that
sir.
science is a process. You're not supposed to
may I come in?
favor one outcome over the other. So if you've been believing
Right.
something all this time and you find scientific evidence that that's not true, as a rational person, you would throw it out and say, okay, well, now I know that that's not true. But people have a problem with that. Like it's a mental block. That's all I'm saying. So science is a process.
Okay,
So it's a process, right? So if you can't argue with science, that means you can't argue with what?
Let me do this
No, you can
scientific
you can
fact.
argue with science.
Let me
Though.
give you a
Science is not
scientific
How?
fact.
If it's a
science is not
study.
about
Something
science is
that
not
we all
about
know to be
delivering absolute
scientific.
truth. It's about
Where
creating
does
like
a
the
diamond,
best plausible
sir,
explanation
sir,
based on
She just
reality
said
and
believed to be
evidence.
true.
Wait.
Based on evidence.
Where does
Based
a
on
diamond
evidence.
come
Hold on.
from?
Does the
Hold on,
evidence mean
y'all.
it's true?
Hold on.
Yes,
Listen,
I mean,
you
Y'all
want
can't talk
science.
over each other because we won't hear. You cannot
Okay,
talk over each other.
right,
Before you
right.
go, before anybody else goes, let's cool it down for a second. Think about what you want to say. I want to thank Taz the GOAT for joining the panel. He's the last person I didn't get a chance to say thank you for joining. All right. And then I think I couldn't tell who was trying to go first, Ja or Mr. DJ Music. Who wants to go
Yeah,
first?
yeah. Let me just ask you, my man. Here's science for you. Where does a diamond come from? What does it start off as?
A rock, doesn't it?
A lump of coal.
Oh,
Okay.
carbon,
Where does oil come from?
Tell me.
I think it comes from deterioration of different things that turns into what we call fossil fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
Okay, so
organisms.
is that scientific fact?
Is it a scientific
Yes,
fact,
it's
or
a
did it start from a
scientific fact.
scientific?
There's no obfuscating. It's simply yes or no. Is
So
it scientific fact? Is it scientific fact? Let me take the fact scientific out of it. Is it fact that a diamond starts off as a lump of coal?
I mean, I don't think that's
Simple yes or no.
fact. That's just a fact.
I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding because when I sat there and say, does that mean that science is 100% true? I just got a different answer.
What I'm trying to tell you is, and what the young lady trying to tell you is, until somebody shows us different, that a lump of coal starts off as diamond, it is scientific fact.
But how if it comes from the hypothesis and
No,
a hypothesis
sir,
is an
bro,
educated guess?
Wait a minute.
Tested it in many different ways. It's been tested and corroborated using different methods.
I want to let DJ Music get in. I'm sorry. Too many DJs right now. DJ Witch Doctor.
Wait a minute. Look. Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute, DJ Witch Doctor. I got you. I got you right after, right? Bro, an educated guess is like they say. You know how to drive a car. If you go in an SUV, you're gonna make an educated guess that you might gotta drive it the same way. You know what I'm saying? You see, one somebody put a sequence 1, 2, 3, ask you to guess the other one, you're gonna guess 4. You know what I'm saying? That is another type of educated guess. It's not just a random guess. It's based on something. It's based on some research or something until somebody could bring some research to disprove the shit. The reason why it should be sounding crazy because a lot of stuff that's disproven or not even being attempted to be proven, a lot of people be loud about this shit. And that should make it sound crazy. Science, they can be loud about the shit because it got something to back it. It's some sort of research or some sort of tangible shit. You know what I mean?
So is science 100% true?
No, it's not 100% true. Like, what are you talking
That's
about?
not a valid question. Still
It
not
is.
a valid question.
It is
But it
very
doesn't
valid.
make
No,
its
because
point.
science is a process.
It's a process, right? So can you technically say a scientific
on your own time, or do we want to look up science right now?
I already gave you the definition.
Wait a minute. Science is not 100% true, but it got more percentage than just guessing and guesstimation
So
and
who said
just
we're guessing
tin
though?
file
Okay, so
shit.
that's why I think the disconnect is. So if I say my great grandma said, "Hey, Arlenians come from woody woody woo," so should I trust science over my aunt? I mean, so we're not going to trust our ancestors. We're going to trust science. We're going to trust.
You could trust both of them.
That's why
you could trust both of
that's
them.
why you shouldn't have answered that question because that question didn't make sense.
No,
There's
but
no
we
such
gotta
thing
be
as science
honest.
being
But
true
wait a
or not
minute.
true.
But
Science is
if
a
we try,
process.
that's disingenuous. If we're trying to be true,
wait a minute. Down with your family, talking about family history.
Yeah, so
come on, process. So that's not a process.
If you can scientifically disprove that, then that means your family is mistaken.
Y'all selectively choosing when to deal with science and when to just go by your family word. You know what I'm saying? We all know our families and we all know that they got limited information. You know what I'm saying? The science existed before them. Sure, you're not gonna just not mess with your family. You know what I mean? But still you gotta trust science too, because a lot of time if you gotta get surgery or something, you're gonna go to you're gonna trust science. You know what I'm saying? You trust science for other shit. You can't just throw away science and be like, oh, I'm gonna only trust in my family. You can't. That's selectively choosing science.
People would throw that out and say we trust science versus what you're telling me that your family has passed.
Yeah, can I point something out as well? So oral tradition is not automatically accepted as factual in the same way as physical and documented evidences, right? So, but it's still oral tradition is still a valuable historical source, but it's not that you need more than just oral tradition, you know, my grandmother told me this and my grandfather told me that. You need more than just that to substantiate your evidence. But it's also included as a historical source. So you can use oral tradition for a historical source.
Yes, but it would have to be corroborated just like scientific evidence would have to be corroborated. Physical evidence, same thing. You can't just say something and be like, well, just because that's what they said, then nothing else matters. No.
Okay, but when I brought up historical records, is that not proven that?
No.
Okay.
What's the corroboration?
Never mind then.
So you would need corroborating evidence. I'm just saying, if they're correct, then your DNA test would agree with that.
So let's go off of that. So when you talk about science, right, and you talk about you being from Africa and all this other stuff, where did you get that information from?
My education. Education.
Education in what?
In school.
Yeah, school and what I look up, and also what I research outside of school because I'm a lifelong learner.
Oh, to prove that you're an African.
I mean, what do you mean prove? It's not about proving that I'm African. It's just I understand that how genetics works, and they already figured out like where the different groups of people broke apart, how closely related we are to each other. So
wait. So you got this all from education, right? So you didn't have just DNA. That's how you knew you were as an African, correct?
I mean, DNA confirmed what I already knew based on my education. That makes sense. You know, I mean, it didn't come back and say I'm European. I mean, what do you think they're doing up in those labs? What do you think they're doing over there?
And how else would you get the education? It's not going to come to you, sir.
That's the thing, but they think somebody saying something make it true. I mean, no offense, but they think if they feel something, they think if they spirit tell them something that is true.
We can say the same thing about y'all.
No.
All right.
We can say your spirit makes you feel like you African, so you African.
Okay,
I don't. Okay,
sir,
all right. No, I don't operate like that. I don't operate like
a conclusive
that.
point. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on, slow down. I want
want.
Mr. DJ Music to go ahead and jump in. He's been trying to get in here.
Okay, sir. So in order for what you're saying to be true, that you would have to say that I'm wrong. In order for you to, right? No, okay. So I'm not trying to discredit you for the fact that you say that you are not African. But what I am trying to tell you is that you cannot give me a credible argument to where the entire human race, regardless of you call yourself Indian, whether you call yourself American, Irish, or whatever, the entire human race started at some place. There has to be a starting point.
When did I say I didn't agree with that?
Okay.
When did I say that?
Okay, so wait a minute. But your argument is that your parents told you something. So your parents are trying to tell you that there's two starting places, where I told you it started from as your grandmama, and where everybody else tell you the whole entire human race started from someplace in sub-Saharan Africa. But your grandparents or your family member or somebody told you that that's not where you came from. I can understand your ethnicity if you want to say that nobody you know or nobody that's connected to you was born in the continent of Africa, or you don't have a direct connection to it. That's one thing. But to say you as a human have no ancestry to Africa at all is for me to tell a Caucasian person, any person, that you are wrong on that.
I'm lost.
I still would say, sir who just spoke, I still would specify that we're dealing with two different scales of time. So yes, all humans did come from Africa a long time ago, but some stayed in Africa. So specifically, we come from the people that stayed in Africa longer.
Again, there is a definite delineation, but that's not what we're trying to talk about here. Someone is telling me that there's no way I could have came from Africa. Okay. Your family didn't come from Africa. Your family is indigenous to this, because there's some Africans that were here before slavery. Give you that.
But how do you know they was African before that, though?
I said there were some Africans. Did you not hear me just say that?
I know that. And what I'm saying is, how did you know they were African before those Africans came over here?
Just based on the fact of common sense that tells me if I put a boat on a big ass ocean somewhere and I let it drift, it's called driftwood.
Right.
Even without a sail, I would end up somewhere.
So common sense told you that just randomly, because those were people that they're Africans before the other Africans came here, they're just African.
No.
Were the Vikings Africans? Was the Arawaks Africans?
Bro, not just randomly, bro. There's also African, people from several African empires and kingdoms that have records of them, or they have old traditions of them even making a trip to an expedition to the Americas prior to even Christopher Columbus. For example, you have the Malian Empire, for example, right? I don't know if you ever heard of Mansa Musa. You ever heard of Mansa Musa?
Yes,
so he was the richest man that ever lived, at that time period. But he had a brother named Mansa Abu Bakr II, who did an expedition to the Americas and brought 200 ships, and they've made a voyage to the west, and they'd never returned back. So, I mean, you have certain empires, like I mentioned, the Malian Empire, that have this record of them making this expedition to the Americas as well. So, I mean, it could be feasible that there were African people that were here in the Americas.
Yes, there could be. You could be that small percentage of African folks that decided to stay here. But those
but they would still be African.
Right, you would still be African.
Yo, that's a fact, though. When he said that Mansa Musa and that Abu Bakr, is a true thing, bro. That's a real story.
And again, that's
how Mansa Musa got into power. Because we only hear about Mansa Musa.
Right.
That's how Mansa Musa even got into power.
It's always
Mansa Musa also he did a pilgrimage to the Mecca.
Pilgrimage and broke the economy. Yeah, facts.
It broke the economy in Egypt, right? But he did this pilgrimage to Mecca, and he even bragged about this accomplishment that his people achieved by going to the Americas. So there's other sources, even outside of African sources, like you have Arabic sources that validate this claim that he made this accusation when he did the pilgrimage there in Mecca.
So I'm gonna just be real with y'all, man. Like, for real, some of us moving on from that Mansa Musa bullshit, fam.
Thank you.
Keep that shit, bro.
No, I mean, it's just a fact of history. You don't. It's not a. You don't.
In which way, Taz? Hold on. Let Taz land. Let Taz land. Hold on. Let
You don't
Taz
have to
land.
resonate with it, but it's
hold on. In which way, Taz?
Yeah,
In which way?
I'm purposely standing in the way for it to hurt your feelings, though. I want it to hurt your feelings. We're tired.
Man, what's wrong with Mansa Musa?
At some point,
the richest black man ever lived. I guess we don't.
There's not nothing wrong with him.
I guess
it's not to discount any. Fam, I could have cut any one of you hoe ass niggas off, and I didn't. So please don't keep cutting me off, please. So I'm saying, when it comes to this Mansa Musa conversation, what's being neglected is the hundreds upon hundreds of Black Americans who lived maybe in the past 50 years that nobody never talks about. So while that might be some point of emphasis that you can go back to an irrelevant time period, some of us can acknowledge that, yes, fam, we've heard that 1,000 times, but now we're ready to add on something a little bit more to it. So it's not to discount you, it's not to diminish Africa. It ain't about none of that. It's about learning more and taking more of our history right here in America where we live at. We ain't leaving. So it would benefit us more to learn some of the shit we should have learned in elementary, middle, and high school. So it's not to even shit on Mansa Musa, but it's like, damn, bro, at some point, don't you realize we got history that's being overlooked, discounted, don't nobody want to talk about? And it's a lot of it.
Thank you.
I agree with what he's saying. But I think the Mansa Musa talk was relevant to what they was talking about, because they was talking about coming to the new world and shit like that.
Yeah, that's
one doesn't negate the other as well. We can still say that we have African ancestry, but also be proud to be American.
Right. Again, like I said, folks, knowledge is not going to come to you. You got to go get it.
That's crazy.
You got to go get it, folks. I mean, some of us, I guarantee you, there's a few folks here tonight. This is the first time they ever heard that name, Mansa Musa. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah, but no, the first time they probably heard Abu Bakr for a fact.
Me specifically, when I said that I have African ancestry, right? This is me showing you that my history doesn't begin with just slavery alone.
No, but no one said that. No one said that. No one said that. Our history exceeds slavery. It does. And that's the point that we're trying to tell you. Instead of trying to say, well, no, we didn't come from Africa. Every place has a start point, fellas, ladies.
Yeah, I just find it funny. I just find it funny.
What's
because
funny
when we started the conversation,
would you be happy if I said we came from the continent of Europe? Would that satisfy your curiosity of where you came from?
No, I'm not. No,
so bad to be not right, but it's so bad, sir. It's so bad to say
we have more ancestry in Europe than we do with Native Americans.
Can
I ain't never been to Africa. I ain't going to Africa. Like I don't get what y'all saying.
I find it funny.
Share my screen, Candi.
Oh, okay, my fault.
No, y'all talk. I'm just telling.
I was gonna say real quick. I find it funny that when I had sat there and brought up the reality of the possibility that we might just have been in America, or there's history in America to talk about it, is this whole entire talk about self-hatred and you're not proud to be an African and all this other stuff. But then when Taz just said what he said, now all of a sudden it's like deer caught in headlights.
Can I respond? Can I respond?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you, Taz.
I think what you said. I didn't say what you said, brother.
Yeah, I was about to say that's two different things, because you're trying to say he didn't say that we didn't come from Africa. He said that he wants to put, if I can speak and say, for what you said, that you want to put more of an emphasis on what has happened since then. So I don't think that your point and his point was the same point. But I want to say this. As far as like if anybody has a belief that Black Americans are native to the U.S. or the Americas, the thing is, if you say something, let's just say you make a statement, if I should be able to check it this way, check it that way, check it this way, check it that way, and it's supposed to agree. If you saying something that don't match up with nothing else, it don't match up genetically, it don't match up, as far as like records, it don't match up as linguistically, it don't match up as far as like culture, then you just on an island by yourself. You can't just put something out there and be like, oh yeah, that's true, when everything around it is saying that it's not true. It has to fit the bigger picture. So
but you did that.
What I do?
Did that.
But what I'm saying is you trying to make
you only call yourself an African because of school education. You have no historical records to prove you're personally an African.
Okay, so what I said is that I'm descended from people that came from Africa that were enslaved. That's what I said. So yes, I am majority African. I am majority African. So I mean, I don't get like what you're not understanding about that. So yeah, I didn't say anything that was untrue. But what I'm saying is, if you, like I said, if you say that you're indigenous American or Black people can be indigenous American, you should be able to find resources to prove that in multiple ways. Every aspect of that should be able to be corroborated. There shouldn't be nothing disproving it.
You should be able to show something right now.
Right now.
I say I don't like for real, like for real. I just press him. Like, dude, where's the proof that you're an Indian? Right. You're lying. You lived your whole life as a Black man. Now all of a sudden you
call myself an Indian.
You catch you an Indian.
Never called myself an Indian.
But you came up here saying that you did not come from Africa.
All I ever said was we don't all come from Africa. We come from four corners of the earth. You can go on a replay, and I said that. I said the four corners of the earth.
That don't even make sense. Let me tell you.
It does make sense.
That don't
you
make
didn't have any Africa in you at all. You specifically said that. If we need to back it up, you specifically said that you did not have any African in you at all. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Why? Because my family told me so. That came from your mouth.
In historical records. That's what I said.
Okay, so go grab one of them historical records. Since you're only paying attention to what Taz said, go grab one of those historical records and shut us
Just
up.
one.
All right.
Please.
Can I want to say something. Okay, so you said Black people come from the four corners of the earth. I'm trying to figure out what that means, because you only can come from the people that are before you. So if somebody else popped up on another corner of the earth, that means that's not your people. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you referring to like other dark-skinned people, like in other parts of the world? Because the way it is we come from our parents. So we actually all come from one cell, and it's called Luca, and we all branched off from there. So there's no such thing as like one group of people coming from four corners of the earth. It doesn't work like that. It starts in one place and then it spreads out. So I'm not sure what you mean by we come from the four corners of the earth.
Okay. I want to get this off the screen though. But this right here, what I'm showing you on the screens is the Canary Currents. All right. So even when I was researching about the Abu Bakr and all that, because years ago I was researching it and all of that, and it led me down this road of how the Canary Currents, it just shows you, because Mali's right here, like on the bottom right there. Right. And just to sail off the western coast of Africa, it shows you that it'll push you right to the Caribbean. It's going to push you to southern North America, to the south, to Florida and all that. It shows you, you know what I mean?
I said that,
just naturally, scientifically, it just shows you it's in your favor, in our favor, to be able to sail from there to there and all of that. So, you know what I mean? Just as a thought, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Whether
Thank you
for
very
anybody
much. Thank you for solidifying my point by putting it on paper. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. What would make you think us as Africans that had all these riches and golds, that we found sailboats, we found all kind of means of transportation, that we could not get in this current right here and end up somewhere in North America if the boat was seaworthy enough?
Yeah.
What makes you think that? Just on wind power alone, sir.
Yeah, that's a white supremacy misconception to say that black people did not circumnavigate the earth.
Right. Although the things like the sextant and all the way you follow the stars and follow the North Star and all that came from the minds of who?
The Dogon people.
Outside of a person,
African people.
Dogons. What is this shit that y'all arguing about, though, fam? Like, what does this like? How does this benefit us in the long run?
I like.
Can I respond to that? Can I respond to that? I feel that if we are still denying a part of ourselves, then like we don't fully accept ourselves. So how are we going to move forward? Like if we're trying to hide or discount a certain part of ourselves, we need to be proud of every part of ourselves. I think that's my opinion. Because I don't think a person can say that they love and accept themselves and honor their ancestors if they're saying that they're not descended from Africans. And I think, and one more thing. I think it also it fits in with a larger pattern of just self-hatred that Black people have.
I honestly think what has happened with these DNA tests and shit like that is people kind of forcing a conversation that was never forced. I mean, there's always been Africans around. People never really had a problem with their African ancestry. But for some reason now, there's an issue with people saying, I'm not going to Africa. I don't really care about anything happening in Africa. Just don't mistreat the people over there. I don't want to see nothing bad happen to them. right? But I'm not going to Africa and I'm not African. Yeah, I got some ancestry. Okay, we can talk about all the history you want to talk about, but me, I ain't going to Africa. I don't practice no African customs. I don't care with no African people. Why pretend like I'm any closer to the continent than what I am? I'm not.
Yeah, and yo, I agree with you on that actually, and I think it's everyone's prerogative, you know, what they want to do, right? People don't. I mean, I think the issue of the conversation is that some people are saying that they have zero African ancestry, not that we're not
Right.
American. It's this
That's
it's the
the
fact that you're saying we
conversation.
have
Right.
zero African
That right,
ancestry. That's the
right.
issue of the conversation.
That's the
You don't have to
conversation.
go back to Africa. You don't got to
Right.
identify. You don't got to resonate with Africans at all. Nobody.
Are
That's
they taking the
that's your
DNA
prerogative.
test to say that?
No,
Yes,
he
I
just
have.
came up
I
and said
have.
his right, but his family said that.
I
And
think the
again, with
DNA
me,
test is lies.
there's my heritage is
I'm gonna take
Gullah Geechee, so I know where my
Mine
family
too.
came from. There's no way around that. So my
No,
point to him was, say
I'm
again.
just asking though, bro, because if a person is saying they don't have no African in them and ain't showing you a DNA test to confirm it, what are we talking about?
Yeah, but that didn't
Well,
happen.
that's
That didn't
fair.
He
happen.
doesn't want to
I'm
take the
still
DNA
waiting
test though,
for a
bro.
black person to show me
Right,
that they have zero African
right.
ancestry. That
That's
doesn't
all
make
he
sense.
said. Based
That's
on, he
why I
said
gotta have
based
that
on what his
conversation,
parents
though.
told him.
Bro, there's no
Nothing.
peer-reviewed
It's
geneticist. There's
that.
no peer-reviewed
Right.
historian that says that Black Americans come from the Native Americans. There's no proof of that at all.
It's a
No, it just shows
nonsensical.
that
It's a
they
nonsensical
cohabitated.
belief because if you came
Right.
from Native Americans, you wouldn't be black. You would be Native American. Like
Why
I
would
Exactly.
don't
we
get
come
it.
from Native
Right,
Americans? I don't
right.
understand that.
Again, it just
That
said
is
they
not true.
cohabitated. That's all. They didn't say that black folks evolved from Native Americans. That's just the myth
That's
that was
weird,
pushed on
bro.
us in school.
That
But
shit was a myth too. All that Indian shit, that's just a myth, bro.
well,
That shit is a
Okay,
myth, bro.
before
yeah,
anybody else continues, I'm gonna
ain't a
pause y'all.
myth.
I did get a Cash App donation, and I want to say thank you for that. I'm gonna play the money
Salute.
song real quick, and then we can get right back to it.
It's my money and I need it now. This better have my money. My money and I need it now. Pay me what you want. It's my money and I need it now. This better have my money. It's my money and I need it now. Pay me what you want. Like rap, rap, rap.
Okay, thank you so much for your patience. All right, I do have a question. And go. I don't think you were here when I initially asked the question. I'm going to start with prefacing by saying it's very hard for me to see how blacks in America today can be Pan-Africanism or can follow Pan-Africanism when we can't even get on one accord as blacks in America. So to even try and extend out to other people who are black from other countries and have camaraderie with them, how can we do that when we can't even do the whole camaraderie within our own group here? First of all, I just want to say that.
Well, I would
Secondly,
say
before you go, I do want to ask the question: are blacks in America ashamed of their African heritage? And
Yes.
when I'm asking that, I'm not necessarily asking the people who consider themselves to be FBA. I'm coming from the point of the people who acknowledge that they do have African ancestry. Like someone like
Yeah,
myself who
no.
says that, yeah,
yeah.
you said no.
Yeah, I'm saying no, ain't nothing to be ashamed of. It just ain't, you know what I'm saying? It just ain't nothing it ain't like, for example, like I said like this. So I feel like people have glorified the shit, presented it in a way in which I'm supposed to be super happy and proud that I'm African, as if I'm not supposed to acknowledge that I'm a fucking American. So at some point, it's like, great, you're proud of your ancestry and your history, but I'm proud of who I am right now and who my son's going to be and who my daughter's going to be right here in America. And if they decide to go to Africa or something like that, that's great, that's wonderful. But where is the shame in saying I don't know none of that? That ain't that. There's no other connection other than ancestry.
Mm. Well, again, for me, it's a two-part answer. Yes, some people are embarrassed of the fact that of their connection to slavery because of for American blacks, it's a stigmatism. If you say you came from Africa, that automatically put you in the realm of slavery. So on the other part of it is, I think that some people relish the idea of knowing that they came from that part of the world, although they haven't visited, and they'll have no plans on visiting it. Like me, I have no plans ever of going to Africa, but also I'm not going to abandon the fact that it's somewhere along the line, somebody like me came from that part of the world.
Most of them did.
Right.
Most of them did. But I think it's more of an acknowledgement thing. You know, I can acknowledge that that's where most of my DNA came from. That doesn't mean I have to, like, you know, do whatever practices they do, because we do have our own culture as Americans. But I'm not going to say that I'm not African. Meanwhile, I'm 90% African. That doesn't make sense.
To be honest with you, right? And I'm not even American, right? I'm from Georgetown, Guyana, right? But even me subconsciously, without even noticing the shit, I used to be like, not like ashamed, but felt like a certain way. Like if somebody asks me where I'm from and I say I'm from Guyana and they say, oh, Ghana, like I would correct them in a way like I feel like they try to, you know what I'm saying, call me like an African. But it's because of what I think of, it's because of what I think of when I think of Africa. Is like what is being seen on TV and kids with flies and shit. So I think a lot of people aggressively try to shun that shit. You know what I mean? And ain't nothing that you gotta shun, but it's not like you gotta move to Africa or some shit. You know what I mean? It shouldn't take away from you being an American, because it don't take away from me being from Guyana.
Though, bro. Like, so I don't know how old y'all is and whatnot, but I went to school in the 80s, early 90s. And what I would say is the reason why we're called African American today is because of the push to incorporate Africa into our everyday lives as Black Americans. Yeah, what you're saying isn't untrue. It's not unfounded. But the fact of the matter is it's been given and pressed upon us our entire lives. I'm going to be 50 next year. And there's never been a time where Africa was not part of our understanding. So I would argue that again, the country we live in is the shit that we didn't learn. Things were hidden from us, like right here, while also pedestalizing things going on the continent, or have happened on the continent, or we came from the continent. And I just don't know if that hyper focus is a benefit to us while we're here. If we plan to impose, you're here.
You're done. I want to respond to the person before, Taz, and you said like how you felt when somebody like I guess misheard you or misunderstood you and thought you were from Ghana and you felt offense. I think it has to do with just the overall hierarchy. There's a racial hierarchy, you know, on earth, and to be honest, like white people are at the top, Black people are at the bottom. So like just how you said that, you know, you took, and I'm not coming at you at all. What I'm saying is like that's like if somebody is Dominican and you say them that they might be Haitian and they'll get offended. You see what I'm saying? And it's only because of that everybody wants to be higher up on the ladder than what they are, you know, and they don't want to be mistaken as being lower than what they are. So that's why we got people, you know, if saying that they mixed when they're not, you know, that's why we got Black people saying they're not African. That's why we got people being offended when somebody thinks that they're African. That's all it is. Everybody know, like we know, no, like we have a social awareness of who's above us on the totem pole and who's below us. So we don't want to be associated with nobody that's below us. I think that's what it is. It's part of just the downward. It's the downward pattern of the hierarchy. Black people being at the bottom. That's my opinion.
Let me speak as the elder statements. If you're around in the 70s or whatever, and you saw the 72 Olympics, to touch on what Taz said, Black pride, you know, the black fist was a symbol of Africa. So all we got on the TV screens was the images of poor Black Africa, that if you were from Africa, your stomach was popped out, you had flies growing on you, you were less than zero. But that's what the American media gave us. It wasn't until the invention of where we could go out and get our own information, i.e. like the internet, that we can quickly debunk that shit, because we now know Africa is one of those places where everything grew abundantly, so they didn't have no reason to starve. There's deer there, there's antelope there, there's all kind of shit that they in Africa that they can eat. So they had no reason to starve. But that's what we saw growing up in the 70s, the 80s. Let's go to the Black exploitation era. What it is, blood. The Back to Africa movement. That's always been a part of our collective from the 70s, as me growing up as a little boy to now. It's always been the same thing. There's always going to be a group of folks that I'm not from Africa, or why should we go back to Africa? Nobody's saying go back to right. Wait a minute, Tess. No one's saying go back to Africa. But what folks like me are saying, don't forget, just because you don't go back, that don't mean you just kick it to the curb and don't acknowledge that that's where you came from. That's all. That's it.
So, I want for you to hear it differently though. When I say I'm not African, and when other people say it, what if they just simply saying I'm not from the East Coast or I'm not from down south?
I think you're pointing to a culture.
I see what you're saying. That's a different thing.
I think you're pointing to a culture. So you're saying I'm not. When you're saying that I'm not African, you're saying I'm not culturally African. I have nothing to relate to or resonate with these people. That's not. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Right. That's a different thing.
But if you say that you genetically have,
I want to make sure y'all
Africa, that's a different statement.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to make before anybody goes, I want to make sure when I put the title ashamed, it wasn't just simply I'm not African. It's not just as calm of a response. Some people actually, when you call them African, is almost the same as calling a white person white trash. They look at it as a negative and respond as a negative, which is why we will have those insults like African booty scratcher, or somebody said a bunch of the other ones earlier. It's not just correcting them in a way that seems respectful. There's a level of disrespect for some Black people that I have heard.
Exactly.
So I'm wondering.
But I'm saying, why though?
Can I respond?
That's what I'm asking.
Can I respond?
I think, you know what it is? It's from the negative perception that we have of Africa, and we view Africa through the perception of white supremacy. That's
that's part of it.
I would like to respond. So if somebody thinks that I'm Nigerian, or somebody thinks I'm, whatever, Ghanaian, and I say, oh no, I'm not African, that's with the understanding of like, okay, there are Africans, like continental Africans, and there are African Americans. So if I say I'm not African, that's not me saying I don't have African blood. That's just saying I'm not from Africa. I'm not culturally African. So that's different from saying I'm not African as far as trying to distance myself from the people or the genetically. And that's different from me saying I don't have any African in me whatsoever. That's two different statements. Right. So yeah.
Again, this is where that's not what I was trying to make earlier. You're trying to force Africa onto people. I get that you operating genetically. A lot of people don't care about, like, that's not the point of emphasis in their conversation. So if that's your connection to Africa and you live in genetics first, I get it. But you can't then say someone hates themselves because genetics are far down the line somewhere and they are just quicker to identify on every level with where they live at every day. I mean,
wait. I think Black Americans. We're not all a monolith, right? Everyone don't have to do the same exact thing, bro. You're gonna have some people that's gonna be aligned to this or aligned to that, or have put more credence on their race or put more credence on their nationality, right? Me personally, I put more credence on my Blackness over the country, specifically because when I look at America, the history of America, I'm not so proud of it. When I look at what's happened geopolitically with America and how they're giving up to go to war with all these different countries, I'm not proud of that. I don't align with that. You get what I'm saying? I don't resonate with that. You get what I'm saying? So I think some people resonate with being Black.
You ain't left. You still here. You talking to the wrong person, fam. I'll be the first person to tell you. I'll believe you when you get up out of here. Until the end, dog, I don't want to hear that shit.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah,
well, I didn't want to go down that street, but
what's up, everybody?
For those of you who want to sit here and complain about how bad it is and how good it is in another country, y'all have the option to go live there. You really do. You can apply. No disrespect. I'm not saying you. I'm not pinpointing anyone because you hear this amongst our people. You ask where the division at, and it is right here. We're sitting up here complaining about what it is to be Black, or are we mad about? We hear some people saying I'm not African, and then the host was right to ask the question: is some people mad about being called an African? There's someone on this panel right now that's being mad about it. So she is right. Some people get mad because you refer to them as being from Africa. It's not that's not an insult by saying when someone says, "Hey, I'm not from Africa." Okay, fine, but don't say that you're not from Africa to where that's not where your folks came from. I don't mean your grandpa or your nieces and nephew. I mean originally. We shouldn't have to delineate that. That's the point that this was the point that he was trying to make, and that's the point that we was trying to counteract. We're not saying that if you don't want to be from Africa, that's cool. That's on you. If you want to say that your family was as FBA or ADOS, that's you. You're up to you how you want to identify yourself. But what we're saying is don't disacknowledge the fact that where you came from originally. That's all of us.
But this is what your people telling you, though, man.
I'm not saying
people get tired. Like it becomes circular, fam. Your people are telling you, we hear you, we got you, but we tired of that. We just want to be American at this point. If you want to be Afrocentric and super African, go to Africa. Until then, we're American.
Okay, I'm gonna slow y'all down real quick.
Okay, I was gonna say I want to respond to that.
As American. If you care that much about Africa, nigga, go to Africa.
All right, I want to respond to that.
Before anybody else responds, though, wait. Slow it down. Before anybody else responds, I have somebody who joined the panel I didn't even get a chance to greet yet. So give me a moment. Thank you for joining us, Free to Green. I appreciate you joining the panel. I did not.
But let me answer. It's not the fact that.
Goddamn, music. Can I get my intro in?
My bad. I didn't know you were speaking, bro. My fault. Go right ahead, Free to Green. My bad. Salute.
Nah, I just want to thank Candi for having me on and say what's up to everybody on the panel, man. How y'all?
Salute, bro.
I wanted to ask her.
I had to get it out while it was hot. It's not that we're saying that we're pushing Africa, but are we not allowed to give pushback when somebody says "fuck Africa"?
Right.
Yeah. I want to hear the.
But nobody said fuck Africa.
Wait a second.
Well, that's what
before y'all go,
earlier.
y'all cut Free to Green off. He wasn't even finished with his question.
Yeah, bro, do your thing, bro.
I forgot that bit, but I want the clarified question.
Your volume is low. I don't know if it's maybe that's the reason.
Sound like you want a Bluetooth, bro.
Yeah,
you
can
sound
hardly
low.
hear you. Can hardly hear you.
Damn, my bad. All right, let me drop down a couple. Well,
take the Bluetooth off and then talk directly in the phone.
Is that better?
Oh,
say something else.
It's still kind of low, but we can hear you. But it's
we can hear you, but it's low.
That's worse.
Hold on, let me see if I can turn his mic up. Hold on. Say something else.
Microphone check 1 2 1 2.
Guys,
a little better.
Good, that's better.
Yeah.
Guys,
okay, you're good now.
What about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Much better.
Yeah, that's better.
All right. No,
Are you saying?
Wait, whatever you just did took you right back down.
Damn, this fucking screen yard, man. Let me turn this shit up.
That's the motherfucking Androids, bro.
Nah, this ain't no Android. Screen yard.
I'm messing with you guys. Do your thing.
Now, what I want to ask with the question is, when you saying shame to be African, are you saying like when people deny that they got any lineage back to Africa, like along the Atlantic slave trade?
That's one of the arguments that has been made since people have been given. Can you guys mute? Somebody has an echo feedback. That was one of the arguments that was made after I asked the question. My question is specifically to the people, not just saying I'm not African. There's nothing wrong with saying what you aren't. It's when they treat being called African like white people treat being called white trash. It's the negative like ideology that some people have in association with being called African. And I gave kind of a story on how I came to my conclusion. It started with the stream that DJ Witch Doctor had where the conversation started. The question came about. And so my issue was I started off by saying basically growing up in the 90s, being born in the 80s, I was raised Pan-African by being, from Chicago, the Chicago area. This is how our teachers taught us, right? So growing up all that time, we had all of this black knowledge, black power knowledge, blah, 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 right? And now today, though, it seems like so many people have kind of gotten away from that. And we're at the point now where it's how can I Black people don't typically like being called African. And some people can just say, I'm not African, but a lot of people take it as an insult when you call them that. And when I say take it as an insult, start to I ain't no African. I ain't one of those booty scratchers or whatever. Like I'm going to that because that's a term that I think a lot of people have heard. It's not something that people say a lot, but I don't even want to go into like the things that happened previously. I'm just saying like some people take it as an insult, and it's not just oh I'm not black, I'm not
I
African. Excuse me.
I got you with that because
Okay.
I kind of take it as an insult if you call me an African because I'm not a fucking African. I'm an American. Although I know my ancestors was African, but I'm not an African. And when they say that, I feel like they just dissing my Americanness by putting me back in Africa. No, everything that I know about me and my family is here in America. I don't know nothing about no family in Africa. So if I do get called an African, I'm going straight. You know, I'm not an African. I'm an American.
Can I
So
get
But
a
why
question?
but why white people don't
Can I
why
give her a
white
quick
people don't
back?
feel offended if somebody say that they European or got European ancestry? I
they
don't think it's a
celebrate it.
big deal to be identified African, but I think it's like weird that we shamed of Africa. You know what I'm saying? That's what it be sounding like.
Okay, so here's the thing, though, right? This is what was not being said. Africans don't like being misidentified either. Okay, they don't want to be called Americans either. They don't want to be called black either. So it's like, again, it's like a hyper criticism of us in the way we do shit, even though everybody want to copy us. But you want to copy us and then hyper criticize us as if you're a better version of us. And that's why I say that's why I don't like that Afrocentric shit, because at some point you just critical of us as if you're creating a better version of us, and we kind of just tired of being juxtaposed to Africans. Like do y'all thing over there with them. Get them right. They fucked up over there. Get them right.
No,
I
but
want to
just
respond. Let
identifying
me
with
respond to that. Just one part of what Taz said. You said that they don't like to be identified with us either. That is because we are black. We have a there's stigma on being black. Period. So they don't want to be associated with us because we're pretty much on the bottom rung in the United States of America. And we don't want to be, and I'm saying we, obviously I don't mean me, but we don't want to be associated with them because we consider them to be blacker than we are, and blacker is bad.
I don't want to be associated with them because I'm not one of them.
Okay, I'm not saying every single person. I'm not saying every single person. I'm speaking just generally. You know, that's why people take it as an insult.
But I don't think the insult is just like anybody else you misidentify. A Puerto Rican don't want to be called Mexican. What do you mean?
If you don't know, that's different from.
Well, wait, they both Latino, right?
That's period.
I mean, that's
different.
Latino
bro.
ain't even really.
How is it different?
How is that the same thing and one don't wait? How is that the same thing and one don't come from the other? Like, what are we talking about?
It's not.
We're talking about Latinos.
And I'm not gonna get mad at somebody.
Both Latinos.
If you just call all of them Mexican, just just because you don't care what they are, then that would be disrespectful. Yeah.
Which one come from the other? Which one come from the other?
But maybe you don't also when you say the Dominican and the Puerto Rican.
Wouldn't they be called Puerto Rican Americans?
Hey, well, can I ask something?
Just because Puerto Ricans and Mexicans are Latino, they're not the same people.
They don't want to be identified. Right. They don't want to be identified. They don't want to be misidentified. That's the point. I don't know why you keep ducking that. They don't want to be misidentified. To some of us, they look the same.
Well, yo, man, if I ask something,
we look like Africans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they from the same like.
Back to the point. Nobody wants to be misidentified. Nobody wants to be misidentified.
I get what you're saying, but
it's more than that. We have to admit it's more than that.
And that's what the conversation was about earlier. It wasn't the fact of trying to go back to Africa and all that. It was just the fact that he was saying that point blank, period, that he had no African in him at all, and that was the basis of the argument. It's not where you're from, where you're at, all that.
And see, people hear me keep saying, y'all keep forcing you. It's like you have to force this on people. Like this is why people start rejecting it. Not because we hate it. Because if you just listen back to this, you're forcing it on people, fam.
No, it was. It was more of a history lesson because what we were trying to tell them, okay, no matter what you claim
He
here.
shouldn't be going around.
Who did you give a lesson to?
Him.
Now this
I'm
is what
sure I'm sure you knew exactly what I was talking about when I said that all humans originated in sub-Saharan Africa. I'm sure you would not argue that, sir.
What I am arguing is we don't, as people like myself that's telling you that it's not even about being African or any of that. It's
No, that was not the argument. The argument was that's what he was saying, that regardless of what Carpenter is saying, regardless of what science was saying, that he disagreed with science. That was the argument.
Okay, but Taz's whole argument is more immediate. His argument is immediate since he came on the paddle. So I get where we're all coming from, because he's saying how does that factor in now, and he's more immediate.
And you know what? Nobody's wrong. Nobody's wrong. Taz ain't wrong. If you want to identify with his immediate ancestry, his immediate history, he's not wrong for saying that.
Can I jump in real quick? Can I jump in real quick? I'm gonna say that if we didn't have like a pervasive issue with self-hate in every aspect of our culture, then we could kind of brush that off like the I'm not African. But as long as it's one of the many ways that we express self-hate, yeah, we have to acknowledge that it's a problem. We're not otherwise. It's not like we're saying we're not African and we're otherwise self-loving.
Why do you assume that's
No.
it's self-hate though?
I didn't use
I'm saying we express hate, self-hate in many ways, and that's one of the ways. And I'm saying that you can't. It's not. It would be different if it's just that in isolation, but it's not. We express self-hate in many ways. In many ways. So people saying they're not African, I can't just dismiss that and say, oh, they don't want to be misidentified. No, it's just people don't want to be
Africa,
black.
man. I'm saying people just ashamed of that shit. It is what it is, man. If you tell a white person they're European, they're not gonna feel offended like you said.
Green was saying something. What'd you say, bro?
I'm saying more gaslighting, more forcing that African shit, bro. More forcing it. I mean, it's a shame that you just can't be yourself and be the American black person you were and learn the history of people that came from Africa through the transatlantic slave. Give them their, hey, I ain't finished, little nigga. Give them their experience. Let those people who.
Hey, I'm gonna calm it down, y'all.
Nigga?
How old?
I say you shut the
I don't give a fuck. Nope. Still don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Still don't.
I'm with you 50.
For a second. My bad, Candy Lane. I'm sorry. My fault. Damn, I'm tripping. Yeah, my bad. I ain't got to do all that. Go ahead.
I know it's a passionate topic. I know, and I'm loving the fact that I have strong voices here, but I really don't want y'all to start insulting each other.
Yeah, it's the difference between being passionate and being ignorant too, and disrespectful. So.
Yeah, I'm ignorant and disrespectful, bitch ass nigga.
Yeah,
keep talking.
Yeah, and that's
some
little nigga shit right there. That's some little
you an old nigga. You an old nigga that don't got no decorum, bro. Like you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Can I get y'all to calm down, please?
Either one of you niggas, brother, get up with me if you want.
Can I get y'all to calm down? I do have somebody on the panel. I do want to go ahead and introduce them. Can I get a mic check from Mr. Al Morris? Can I get a mic check from Mr. Al Morris, who joined us on the panel?
Yeah, how you doing, ma'am?
Thank you.
I wanted to add, I don't know if anybody had brought this to the conversation. I see y'all been on here for a little over 3.5 hours. Did y'all bring up the story of Mr. Cujo Lewis, the Barracoon, his autobiography written by Nora, what was her name? Rena Nelson.
You are the first person to bring that up. No, we have not discussed that.
Enlighten us, sir.
Okay, I just.
Did he go enlighten us? When did he leave?
Expound,
Alfonso, where you at, bro?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to read Mr. Cujo Lewis. This is from his book.
Well, send it in. Go ahead.
Well, we can't hear you, sir. If you're speaking.
Yeah. Would you say Barracoon? I think I heard of this.
Al, you know what? I don't know if you are on your phone, but if you let your phone go dark, we can't hear you. It mutes you completely from StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call my other phone.
Yeah,
What
You
he
just got to
did,
keep the
what was he
screen
going?
lit. Just don't let it go dark. That happens
Yeah,
to me a lot too. I forget
yeah.
about that.
Just don't let the screen go dark or mute you.
Hey,
Okay,
can I speak to the fact why he getting his
I
phone
could
right?
bring some on. I could bring some on screen, or we could screen
Yo,
share
your
too.
shit sound low as hell, bro.
We
Yeah,
could
I want to
screen
hear the
share
bro.
too.
I want to hear that
Pretty
bro
Green,
that
you
was just
still
saying.
low.
Yeah.
With a little echo too, Free.
I can hear him though.
Yeah, but
I
if
can
he
hear
tell
you.
us, we could bring it up on the screen too as well. You know what I mean? Just let him know.
And I know whoever else wanted to go while we wait on him to come back, Al Morris.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, again, I'm from Ohio, right? Again, I'm not used to Haitians and people that ain't from this country talking crazy, right? So when I hear an accent or, I'm saying, some fucking foreigner talking greasy, what I mean, it kind of get under my skin a little bit. And again, it's not like about everybody in Guyana or everybody in Africa, but it does tend to irritate you when, a person who can barely enunciate something in English call themselves talking shit to you. And I know, these Afrocentric people might think you're wrong for saying it, but it's just the reality. Tell these
Don't
fucking
worry,
people
you'll
who
live.
can
You'll
barely
live.
speak English who the fuck they talking to. That would be a great place to start.
You're growing up. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. I think I got faith that you'll be alright. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You are an adult.
I'm gonna
What I want
let
to
y'all.
say is
I'm
like
gonna let y'all have that.
I don't see the big deal in being ashamed of Africa, but I don't think it's like a big deal of having to say you're African either. It's not. It's just the only reason I like zooming in on it is because it's like, damn, why you so ashamed? Why people is because I know for a fact, honestly, like I felt shame a little way, and I didn't even notice that I felt shame until I had to look at myself like why I always aggressively be like, no, not Ghana, I'm from Guyana. But that don't mean that I'm trying to move to Africa or none of that shit. I
Right.
mean, I'm
Okay.
busy.
Can I say something? I want to give another example that's similar to yours. Because okay,
Wait, Kachako,
I'm
you
sorry.
didn't let him finish. He was still
Oh, my
talking.
bad, my bad,
No,
my
I'm
bad.
finished. I'm finished.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was working at a truck stop at one point in time, and this man came in. I guess he was a truck driver, but he was like, "What country in Africa are you from?" And I'm like, "What you mean?" He's like, "No, what country in Africa are you from?" And it took me a second to realize he was saying that he thought I was African, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm African American. I'm American. My parents are from here or whatever like that." And because I was like, "Yeah, I'm from here." He was like, "Where your parents from?" I was like, "My parents from here." But he was like, "Okay, you need to go find out where you from. You might have some gold or some oil in Africa. You need to find out where your people are from." But my coworkers, they were saying you should have asked him. You should have said the same place in Africa your mama from. And it's supposed to be an insult, like that he said that he thought I was from Africa. Oh, I look like I'm from Africa. Do you see what I mean? I'm like, why would I
Now,
get mad? Why would I
let
get
me
mad
ask you,
because he thought that I looked like an African? That doesn't make sense. Like,
Chaco,
huh?
let me ask you because you didn't say what this man's race was. You didn't
Oh, he
say.
was African. He was African.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but no, that's not an insult to me. And they got people that's there that look just like,
Right.
they have a whole lot of diversity. So yeah, sure, some of them might have features that we consider to be more African, but then some of them that will have a nose that's higher and slimmer than yours. So, yeah, but anyway, that was just an example of like I didn't take it no type of way, but my coworkers, they felt like I should have been offended by him saying it.
What
And
makes a
what do you
person
think that you think that points to like a hatredness or something or what?
I mean, yeah, because my thing, this is how I look at it. We black, right? So let's just say if we are facing reality, we know that we're mostly West African, but at the same time, we're not 100% West African. So I feel like if people feel like they're better than Africans based on that, we're saying that we think that it's the white in us that makes us better than them. So you see what I'm saying? Because
Who
why?
said
And
that? Hold
no,
up. Who said that?
listen. Okay, but
Nobody
no.
said that.
All right. Well, all right. So I think that's the case because y'all talk about like, okay, how they look and stuff like that and
Who,
saying we don't
okay.
look like them.
Pause.
Oh, wait.
Nobody talked
But then
about how they look. We didn't talk about no feature. We're just
I'm
really
talking about,
talking
I'm
about
talking in
you.
Oh,
general. I'm not talking
somebody
about
did
what
say
you
that
specifically
we don't look
said.
like
I'm not
Africans.
talking
We don't
about
look
what you
like them.
specifically said. People in the chat were saying we don't look like them or whatever like that. And also like mixed
So we
people
do
have
have
a higher
different
set. Wait,
phenotypes. You
mixed
don't think
people,
so?
it's known that mixed people have a higher status, you know, in the community. And those, if your hair is wavier, that's considered good hair. If you
Okay,
have
see,
light eyes, that's considered pretty
a
eyes.
whole nother thing because nobody mentioned anything about facialism,
We're going out of
texturism.
dark hole. We're
I
going
mean,
out of dark
I'm
hole.
speaking in general. I'm not speaking about what you said. I'm speaking in general. I'm speaking in general. Yes, it's understood that there's a color hierarchy in the Black community. Is anybody going to deny it?
This ain't going nowhere.
Is anybody going to deny that there's a color
That's
hierarchy in the Black
worldwide. That
community?
same shit going on.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It happened in Guyana too.
That's
and I'm saying
worldwide. That's worldwide.
Okay, so yes, so but worldwide, Black is at the bottom. Worldwide, Black is at the bottom. So yes, I feel
But
that
you're
they
equating people
were
that don't
offended by being
associate with being
associated with something
African
that's
that it's
blacker
okay
than
for them
them.
shame of being
But look, if somebody said they was Dominican, they wouldn't be offended. Oh, well, I thought you was
No, they
Dominican.
would. Actually, they would because
No, they
I
wouldn't.
remember I was in
No,
the
they wouldn't.
Army. I
Did y'all
met-
see? Did y'all see that girl Asian doll? First of all right, I'm gonna let you go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Use these
Go
people
ahead.
as no
So I
examples.
remember
People
years
ain't
ago
nobody.
when I was in the Army, I met this woman, like we're in our early 20s. She looked like a straight up Black girl to me, right? What I would consider a Black American. She corrected me right off and she's like, no, I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican. They don't, you know, I'm not gonna say they, but me,
they
you
own
know,
it like
just
that.
looking at like, oh, Black like me. No, she's like, no, I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican. So it's like, why is it as quote unquote Black Americans we can't, you know, identify our lineage? Because just like I don't know who said it earlier about if you go over there in Africa, they're gonna direct where they're from, their country. Us, we're going to say, oh, we're just Black America. We're all in this melting pot. But we all come from different places. We come from the east, the west, the north, the south. We come from the Midwest, you know what I'm saying? So why is it that we're only always lumped into one, but they're able to go back in their lineage? Either with Puerto Ricans, they don't want to be considered Mexican or Hispanic. They're Puerto Rican. Why? Because they're from Puerto Rico. So why is it that when we try to do the same thing, it's self-hate or we're ashamed of being Black? Because
but you
like I
you
said
just kind of
earlier,
proved
being
my
Black
point though.
is
You
not
just proved my
synonymous
point.
to
You
African.
just proved my point though. Because if she is Dominican and Puerto Rican, I mean, if she's Black, she's Black. So for her to correct you
I
and
said
say
she
she's
was
not
Black,
Black,
she corrected me, right? So
yeah.
why
So
am I gonna base my
basically, no. Listen, let me finish.
ideology on her
Let
when
me
she know
let
where
me let me
she's
get my
from?
point. Let
She
me get
know
my
her
point across.
lineage.
She didn't want to be associated with Black because Puerto Rican and whatever else she was, Dominican, is considered to be better than Black. It's a hierarchy. That's why Black people are not going to get offended if you say I thought you was Dominican. But if you say, I thought you was African, it's going to be a problem. You see what I'm saying?
I want to jump in. I want to jump in before anybody else
Say
goes.
one thing,
I'm
Candi.
jumping in.
One thing,
Hold on. Before y'all
Everybody
jump.
slap the like button if y'all here. Slap the like button. Share the video out. If you're here and you haven't liked, just slap the like button. Salute to everybody that's a part of this conversation.
Sure do appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Buddha.
I
Thank
just
you.
posted a link to my Telegram group as well.
Before anybody else goes, that goes to the second. What you two, the dialogue y'all just had, Tiff and Choco Kitty, goes to the second part of the title question: was did Pan-Africanism fail us? Were we force-fed Pan-Africanism so much so that we're the ones who want to be comrades, but the people in the diaspora don't feel that same way about us? Did it fail us in that way?
We both have problems with each other, and it's because we both are Black. That's why, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. They have a problem with us because we Black. We have a problem with them because they Black.
Black.
Absolutely, it's a tribal thing. Yes, I think
Also, Pan-Africanism comes from the diaspora as well.
But wait.
It's not an ideology.
No, it does not.
I wanted to say one more thing. Did y'all see that girl? Her name is Asian Doll. She a rapper. She came out saying that she don't have no African in her. She's like 100% native. But keep in mind, she's Black, right? If you look at her, she's Black. She been calling herself Asian Doll all this time. Now she's talking about, she been ashamed to she was scared to come out and say she's actually not Black. She's Native American. And that a lot of us are saying that we're African, but we know that we're not in our spirit. But what the fuck is she talking about?
No. Why bring her up? She don't matter. She's stupid, and she's looking to her next grip.
But a lot of Black people are stupid.
We gonna leave her be, sister.
A lot of Black people are stupid.
Be that woman, that girl is a fool.
I want to get back to the question I asked.
You said Asian dog, like the example.
The question that I asked was.
When y'all get done, I got it. That should be good.
You don't have no problem being called Asian. But hierarchy.
All right, I want to get back to the question. The second part of the title was, my question is, did the idea of Pan-Africanism within the United States as we were teaching it in schools or however you learned about it, however you got to that conclusion as a person being born in the United States and having Pan-Africanism force fed to you, do you think it set you up for an unrealistic expectation when it comes to the diaspora and how they will embrace you?
I don't
Yes.
agree with
Yes.
that. I don't agree with that.
Yes.
All right,
My
Yes,
response
Udo.
is
I would
no.
say yes. I would say yes to that.
I'm gonna
Udo,
say no
okay, go ahead.
because we aren't
Chaco,
raised like my bad, my bad,
Chaco,
my
you got
bad,
to slow
my
down. You're
bad.
taking over,
You know
man.
I'm passionate. I'm gonna go on mute.
You're taking over. Okay, Udo, go ahead.
I just said yes. I just said yes.
Why? My question is why though. You say yes, but why do
Because
you feel that
even
way?
growing up in school, you know what I mean? Even growing up in school, you know what I mean? I think I just seen how the relations was from Caribbean people, American people, and African people. You know what I'm saying? Like Haitians, they was called HBO. Africans, they was
Haitian
called
body odor.
different. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying? Africans was
Yep.
called certain things. I mean, if you was from certain countries, if you was from like the Caribbean, they 9 times out of 10, if you talked in a little accent or patois type, they would have probably lumped you and called you African. You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. But I think our perception of it was kind of skewed as well with all of the flies on the bellies and all type of stuff of how we think about Africa in itself. But I think also we had a big burst. I think the Pan-African thing, I think is kind of like a love bomb in a way though, because I think we had bursts of that thing. But at the same time, even when we seen that thing on YouTube, even here, we seen what it was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, is it really that? Is it really about what it is? You know what I'm saying? So I just really never really kind of understood the
Can I
Pan-African
answer that the latter part of your
logic.
question?
Yeah.
So I would say, and this is from a person that's more inclined towards Pan-Africanism.
Okay.
I would say partly. I would say partly. I think part of it is it is an expectation that's almost unrealistic in a way, or we just didn't approach. We don't know how to approach it because for us African Americans, right, we are the minorities here in America, so we have a more. I feel like we have a more sense of a race identity compared to like Africans who are more associated with their tribal affiliations, their country of
Get it
their
out.
country. Yeah, sorry, their country of origin. My screen went black. But yeah, they're more identified with their ethnicity, their tribes, and their country of origin. You get what I'm saying? So the concept of race for them is not the same. They live in a continent where black people are the majority, so they don't have that sense of that immediate grievance with white supremacy that we might have as direct descendants of the slave trade. You get what I'm saying? So I would say partly in that sense, but in the other sense, I would say not really because when I think about Pan Africanism, I think of it as a work in process. You know, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's a working process. It's people coming together, and then I would say there's even benefits from Pan Africanism. I would say, right, even in Africa, right, many of these countries that are created in Africa, they came about. They gained their independence in the 50s and 60s based on the OAU, which
Yes.
was founded on Pan Africanism. So Pan Africanism is an ideology that came from the diaspora, which helped to motivate and create African independence.
I get that, but did we see it
Yes.
really translate here in America like that? What are we seeing
wait.
our people here doing with it? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like when
All
we
right, so
look
if you want
at
to say that,
the
if you want to say that,
examples
look,
of it, like
if
here,
you
you
want
know
to
what I'm
say that
saying?
specifically as us African Americans, right? Here in this
Yeah,
country, we never had an African American president, correct? Barack Obama is not African
agreed.
American, but yeah,
Agreed.
but in
He
Africa, we had
actually
several
is.
presidents.
Why isn't he?
But
He's
hold on,
absolutely
He
African
I
hold on,
American.
let me
agree.
finish,
If
let
we
me
want to
finish.
go
In
that far,
Africa,
if we want to
is.
let
go
me
that
finish, let me
far,
finish.
just let him go.
Yeah,
Just let him go if he going that far. Go
yeah,
ahead, go.
in Africa, we had several presidents in Liberia. We had 14 presidents there in Liberia. We had no presidents here in America. We had 14 presidents there in Liberia.
We
Black Americans, yes. American Liberians,
Liberia,
they're descendants of African
Liberia.
Americans.
Can I?
What does
Yes.
Liberia have to
Liberia.
do with
Wait,
this?
Liberia
Whenever
is
you
just.
done, can I respond? Whenever Taz done, can I respond?
Yeah, I want to get my yes out too.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
rather have
Okay,
Taz.
him
when you
answer.
done, when you done.
He's speaking to
You mind if
Liberia
I
though,
go
as
after
if
him?
it's not an extension of the United States.
That's what I'm saying.
Like Liberia isn't some separate African nation. That's the number one nation in Africa that belongs to the United States. Liberia,
No, it doesn't belong to the United States.
man, that shit belongs to the United
No, it
States.
does not. No, it does
What?
not. They have their
What?
own constitution there. What are you talking about? That's their own
Oh,
sovereign nation.
which means what?
Shit. Yeah,
It means that they don't belong to America.
Okay,
Now,
so
if you want to say the
because when
origins,
I
if you
make
want to say the origins of Liberia has some influence from America, yes, because Liberians, which were free Black Americans, went and established that country.
is there influence today?
Sure, yeah, sure. Based on those Black Americans that went there and created that country, yes.
But getting people to move back there
Really?
don't help what's going on right
so
here.
the capital of Liberia is named after a Black American?
No, it's named after a white American, Monrovia.
Right. So why isn't it changed to someone Black if you've had 14 presidents?
That's because when Liberia was established, it was established through the American Colonization Society. This was a religious group. It wasn't the
Checkmate,
government that.
fam. You can continue.
No,
You
but
say
it's
whatever
not.
you want to from here. Like,
Well, it's really not a checkmate because the American government did not colonize Liberia. It was a religious group that thought, oh, the free Black Americans are going to cause problem with the enslaved Black Americans. Let's find a way to export them to Africa, back to Africa. And that's where some of the free Black Americans, they went to Liberia,
how long
created
did the
their own
ACS
institution.
work in Liberia?
You said what?
How long did the ACS send people to Liberia?
How long? This was in the 1800s.
Right. And how long did that take place? Because I just want to establish to you that it's their nation.
Yeah,
they colonized Liberia.
They did not colonize
literally
Liberia.
colonized Liberia. Literally. The American Colonization Society. They sent people there for 30 years.
They didn't go there with colonizing with a military
they
force.
Sent some niggas over there.
The American Colonization Society went to the native chiefs there and bought land. Bought land for these people from the native chiefs to resettle the Black Americans that went there. The Black Americans that went there established their own constitution.
Just to be clear, fam,
and created that
country. Listen, man. Yes, it says yes. The American Colonization Society played a central role in founding. Yes, it did.
Yeah,
Bro, they colonized Liberia, fam. Like it's an extension of the United States.
I would say Liberia has American influence, and that's based on the people that created the country, which is Liberians, with the help of the American Colonization Society, which was a religious group. It has nothing to do with the government.
And see, I think that's the issue right there. Because again, like when you start looking at the issue with Marcus Garvey and talking about taking niggas to Liberia and whatnot, these relationships that y'all imply have never existed with Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you want people to believe that something is there that isn't. I believe that Pan-Africanism, because I just want to speak directly to what you said about Pan-Africanism. I believe that you should focus, if Pan-Africanism were truly a thing and a real ideology, it should be about connecting those 54 nations together, getting them to work together, getting tribes to work together within nations. Once you look at a nation like Nigeria and see hundreds of different tribes of people that speak different languages and whatnot, how can you declare Pan-Africanism in this country when you have a country that's divided by so many different people?
I mean, we could claim it because the ideology of Pan-Africanism comes from the diaspora. It comes from African Americans and Caribbeans. Even before there was a Marcus Garvey, you had Martin Delany. This is an African American. He literally went to the Yoruba chiefs and Abiyakuta and established treaties with them to resettle Black Americans there. This is way before Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey never even set foot to Africa. So I'm just pointing out that Pan-Africanism is an ideology that comes from the diaspora for our longing to return back to our ancestral motherland.
Pan-Africanism was founded in a basement of a church here in America, family. What you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. It comes from the diaspora. We are the diaspora.
No, we are not the diaspora. That's what I'm saying.
We are. We are the African diaspora.
Because I want you to understand the key to this conversation. I keep telling you, you're forcing it. Every time I tell you that I'm not something, you say, yes, it is. And I'm just telling you, ideologically speaking, we should be able to be opposite without you forcing the paradigm.
All right, so respectfully, Taz, I agree with you. Like, me personally, I think that Black Americans were not a monolith. We're going to have people that's going to identify with being African. You're going to have people that identify with this, that, Republican, Democrat. We're not a monolith. We don't all have to do the same thing. So just because you want to identify with being, confined within American borders, there's nothing wrong with that. And if African American that wants to diversify their you know,
that was cold to slip.
they want to diversify and look outside of America and establish, connections outside of America. That's fine with that. You have the
But
American
think about
government.
that
You have
though. Think about that though. Just really think about that, right?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool. Africa's cool. If we want to build there, anybody can build there, right? It's cool.
Right.
But that just seems like you're trying to get me to not think about what the hell's going on right here.
No, you don't have.
It's
I'm not saying
going
that
on
at all.
right here.
What I just said is that we're not a monolith. We don't all have to do the same thing. So that's why
We
when
do
Taz
need
says
to
that
do
we should be
something
proud
though.
of,
But we
should be
need to
proud
do
of our
something
immediate.
though. We need to do something. It's 46 million Black Americans in America right now, and then we got the 4.6 people immigrants that's here that's actually documented and they citizens here. Everybody else is whatever. But I'm just saying that's a lot of numbers here to make some shit go down. And I think that us as Black Americans, I'm born here. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm saying people that's here in America right now, if people put their mind to a like cause and figure out some shit, you could change some shit all around the fucking world, not just in America right now.
I agree with you.
Because I think that everybody around the country's always look to the Black man and the Black woman for the struggle and all that. Trust me, they respect that shit. Trust me. But a lot of people, they don't, because people think that they're better around the world. Yes, they do. These are facts, bro. But at the end of the day, we got to figure out, we could call ourselves whatever the fuck we want to call ourselves. We don't have, okay, the white man named us. We could change it right now and say what the fuck, and they would have to get on code of what the fuck we say. Right. So we got to stop the dumb shit and figure out what the hell we want to do and start getting on some kind of mind of what we want to do here right now. And that's how we start identifying who's on the code. Fuck with, word, will you hear? Okay, you documenting all that? All right, cool. So what's up? You on side? All right, cool. So we already know what's going down. But until we start identifying something that we want to push for and what we going to do, then we just going to be blaming and claiming and looking at everybody what?
And you know what, bro?
We got William O'Neills all around us. We got a bunch of Willie O'Neills around us.
Right.
And
that's entirely our responsibility as Black Americans. You get what I'm saying? Like we need to be practicing better group economics, like other groups do. And when they come to this country, the Chinese, the Lebanese, the fucking Jews, all these different groups. When they come to America, they practice better group economics. The dollars within their community stay within their community longer than a Black dollar stays within our Black community. Our dollars are going to other
things that tie them
together
together too. They got religion and other things that tie them together as well as not just they hunky dory friends. They got things that's also tying them together. We still separated with religions and shit. So some of those things separate us, bro. So sometimes we got to stop using other people's things. We got to stop using other people when we talking about ourselves, bro. We got to just think about Black faces and things like that, because we got anything in history that we could claim from our own history to make an example. We got to stop thinking about other people when we thinking about ourselves, because their plight is not our plight. Their situations is not our situation. And when you talk about the little hat people, I'm going to tell you that they still have spirituality and religion of one kind that's going to tie them together regardless if they like each other or not. So it's different. Imagine if we was all with just one religion. We might see each other.
Let me say this, man.
Yeah, Taz. My bad.
Look, because check this out. This is what I'm saying. Like today, February 21st, this is the day 61 years ago that Malcolm was killed, right? And I do believe that Malcolm had a Pan-African ideology most of the time when we heard him talking. But as he, moved away from the NOI and whatnot, we saw him looking more towards fixing things around him. And that's all I'm saying. It ain't got to be negative until you make it negative, until you start forcing it. I think we need to focus on things that are important to us right here. And if a person has a ideology that says Africa, it's Africa, it don't have to be a negative. But I do think this DNA shit and this telling people where they from and all that, that's really what's driving the conversation. For real. I just don't think there's a need to argue ancestry with people. I don't.
Yeah, I think there's multiple things that are driving the conversation. I think it's identity issues. I think it's our social standing in this country.
You mind if I read my thing next?
Go right ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro.
Before you go, did you want to share anything on the screen, or are you just going to read it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just was gonna read, and I was just gonna mute up.
What was the book? What was the book? Can you say what the name of the book was again?
Yeah, it's called Barracoon.
Yeah, I heard of this book.
You better not mess up none of the words, bro. I'm a judge.
I heard of this book, bro. I heard of this book too. I heard of this.
Yeah, and it's by Zura Houston. It was the interview. Yeah. She was one of the last guys to
Zora Neale Hurston.
Yeah, Zora Neale Hurston. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what Cujo Lewis said his experience was. He was saying
He was like one of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
last slaves. She interviewed him and stuff like that, right? They interviewed him, something like that.
yeah. Now it's a little. She wrote it in his thing, so I'm gonna try to just read it.
Yeah.
It says, "When we at the plantation on Sunday, we so glad."